Hi, my name is MachineRite, and this is another VOD review. So today we're doing someone who's been in my server for quite a while, actually. He's one of our beloved rare West players that we can never seem to find for any sort of practice for our West players. So yeah, if you're a West player, please join my server and come practice with people, because for some reason you guys are really difficult to find. So yeah, let's start. So I think this is just a normal arena game, but that's fine. I'm also gonna talk about, like, if you're on console right now, like the frames and performance aren't like great, and I think if you really want to go to like the highest level of gameplay, like you gotta like treat console as like step one. Like you can get as good as you can on console, obviously, but I think if you don't ever plan on buying a PC at some point, it might be a little difficult to reach your goals. Alright, so you've landed super late here. You kind of ditched the other drop. I also like that, but I did like that you did look around and actually kind of scout out like safe areas to drop. That's something I always recommend. Never just drop to one spot and land it no matter what. It's not really the best way to do things. You have to be very dynamic with your drop and really learn like different areas to drop, and just like you got to learn your POI. You can't just go and plan one spot to drop every time. Yeah, because that's just like, if someone contests you, because most people choose really good spots to drop right away, then it's not gonna work out great every single time. I'm also gonna be honest. I've never played Fortnite on a controller, so there may be some like mechanical things that I just don't understand. Um, I've played console for a long time. I've pretty much stopped around after the Xbox 360. So, but yeah, I played a lot of Call of Duty and a lot of Halo. But yeah, as soon as the Xbox One came out, I was pretty much done with console. Yeah, I've been on PC since 2009. So I was kind of playing PC simultaneously with console. This is good that you're scouting out your area first, but really you can't really afford to stop this long. You got to keep moving. Like, the guy's there, so you can actually just go to your left here, and he's not going to have really good line of sight, and that's what you do. You move here. He doesn't see you. That's perfect. Now, I know this is arena and you're just looking for fights, but in tournaments, you really got to focus your loot. Like, these people can be here, and that's fine, and you got to just let them be and continue your looting route. If they start pushing you, then you got to do something about it. But if not, just be aware of them. Yeah. Looking for, like, purposely starting early game fights is never a good way to go. You gotta, if somebody's really forcing an early game fight, let it happen and play defensive. And you always got to play that defender's advantage. Okay, right here, that's his ramp. Yeah, you got to get out of there. Okay, so you actually had your wall here, and you actually had. So I don't know if you heard him or saw him there. I just kind of find it hard to believe that you had no idea that he was there when he was walking across. It's good that you got the shot off while he wasn't paying attention. Right here, he gets the ramp instead of you. So yeah, you do good to get out of there. But right now, this is your wall. And the play that you chose to make was to go rush back and 50-50 him. Now, if that was like your plan all along, you could have just done the 50-50 like while you were under his ram. So it was smart to go back to your wall, but you didn't actually make anything out of it. And he actually sprayed it, so you could have held your wall back there and shot him back on a spray return. There was a lot more plays that you could have made here. Just rushing back to him and doing the 50-50 was not the right option, because that makes, also, you have to understand, on console, that makes it such a harder shot to hit. the more movement you have to force yourself to do with the joystick, the harder it is to gonna be. The harder it's gonna be. I think console actually works well, not console, but controller in general really like benefits good crosshair placement and like getting yourself in positions where you're on the ground and you can like ADS in and get like that like quick little like aim assist adjustments. When you're running forward and hip firing, I don't know how the new system really works, but at least I think that that great crosshair placement is always going to benefit you, rather than pushing for fights like that. So here you go again. I don't know if you knew that he left, but you opened that up right away, which wasn't perfect. Okay, so you do the exact same thing here. You're holding this edit, and you actually had a little bit of time to decide with that, and you just forced a 50-50 again. So I want to kind of hold that in slow motion here and just like kind of, we're gonna go super slow motion. Right here, there's a lot of edits you could have made. What I would have done is I would have reversed this ramp and reversed this left side, and done like the half ramp. And then what that could have done is it would have given you could have stood right here and you would have actually had a nice jump peak against this guy going diagonal. And diagonal meaning like he's just diagonally across from you. So yeah, this edit here was not the right decision. This was your build. He broke that wall. You had lots of opportunities to give yourself an advantage, and this does not. This just eliminates advantages for everybody. This is just this is just rolling the dice. You also see now that you actually paid for that. You're in a huge health disadvantage right now, just because of that play. So yeah, because sometimes 50-50s work out and sometimes they don't. But if you ever win a 50-50, you cannot really still say that it was the right decision just because you won. This is your wall. He gets the wall. You have to be really quick. As soon as he gets the wall, you have two options. You either jump back and get your own ramp out, or you start holding good crosshair placement and waiting for some sort of spray return. I would have just gotten the ramp out right away. That was the safest thing. Spray return isn't a perfect solution, but yeah, right here you could have hit him with the spray return. He gets the wall. Right now you got to hold good crosshair placement with your shotgun and get ready for a swap delay. Also, he gets his own ramp inside here, so that's another good reason that you should probably get your own build on the floor, like a cone or a ramp. You don't really have a lot of mats, but you still could have done it. So yeah, he opens this up and forces a 50-50 again. Yeah, you really just had to get the crosshair placement lined up and just kind of get yourself prepared for that like quick reaction and just like shoot as soon as you see him. You also have to get yourself in the habit of like don't always go and if you ever review yourself, don't always just go over the fights that you win and just say that that was all good and everything you did there was perfect, because it usually isn't. If you won because your opponent made a mistake and you also made a lot of mistakes, you have to still like correct everything that you do. When I VOD review, I go through the whole thing, everything, doesn't matter. I noticed a lot of people are really commenting on VOD reviewing and looking for the reason why you died. But you should also just really just VOD review everything and start really looking for advantages and like the trade-offs of everything. It's like, okay, why did I get damage here? Did he not shoot? Like, did he make a mistake, or did I actually have a positional advantage here? Just kind of start getting that scale out and weighing out each side of every single engagement and every single trade, and just really get in there and start correcting everything. Did you just change your sensitivity mid-game? Okay. I don't know how people do that. It's not the biggest thing in the world in controller apparently. Um, on PC it really would mess me up. Okay. But yeah, so like VOD reviewing your own stuff, it's not just about like the fights that you lose. Just start analyzing every single trade that you get into. Start looking at the damage numbers, who hit more damage, who shot first. And that's probably the biggest one, is who shot first. Because a lot of engagements are just like based off of like landing one good shot first, and then whoever follows up, technically third, is actually going to win a fight. Okay, so right here he actually had an advantage over you there. You had to like cover yourself when you ramped out like that. You were actually exposed. Like if you want to go and look for like a low ground peak, then always like have some sort of cover. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this fight. Then I'm probably gonna go and skip to endgame. So I'm gonna assume this probably. I don't know if this is what you're thinking, but you landed a shot on him first, and you did have some sort of health advantage going in here. But again, like getting in someone's box without landing like a more justifiable or just a more justified damage number than 40, um, it's kind of not great. Because so far, every fight that you've taken here has been a 50-50. There hasn't really been much utilized advantages or any sort of positional advantages. So I'm gonna start skipping through stuff here, but right now there's no reason to be looking around here. There's very little people left in the lobby. There's 34 people left in the lobby because this is just an arena game. You do not really have to camp up here. You do not have max wood. You should be getting max wood, and you should be rotating to center zone. This is a big waste of time. There's people shooting at you right now, but like realistically, if you start moving, or if you go down and start like moving through these builds, like they're not going to be able to see you. So yeah, just get out of this area. Also, every time you fight and make noise, that just attracts more people to the location. They're looking for free third-party damage or like weak players to kill. So yeah, every time you fight, just get out of there. Get your stuff and leave, because there's usually going to be people on the way. Okay, so you fill up on knots. Again, edge zones. So there's kind of like a domino effect that happens with rotations. If you're edge zone for zone 3, which I think this is zone 2. If you're edge zone for zone 2, then you're most likely going to be more than edge zone for zone 3, because like, yeah, always be ahead of the zone. Just, you got to keep getting center position here. So right now you get it, it's as far away as it can possibly be pretty much. It's a good decision to start moving like right now. But yeah, I would say your chances of getting center zone for zone 3 is just not going to happen here. And getting center zone for zone 3 is probably the most important rotation to skip. Because, yeah, being center zone in zone 3, you're always going to get zone. just the size of Zone 4 and just where it how it spawns within Zone 3. This means like you're always gonna get zone. So yeah, always set yourself up just to make sure that you get center zone for Zone 3, and that's gonna save you a lot of time. Zone 4 doesn't matter. You do not have to be center zone for Zone 4. Zone 5 is always going to be totally random, and being center zone does not really help you, and can actually be sometimes it can be a disadvantage for Zone 5, just because you're rotating through everybody. Whereas if you're rotating along the storm, you only have to really deal with half the lobby, and you can have a protected side from the storm, or using the storm as a protected side. Yeah, here's mats that you really could have gained a long time ago, but again, you settle for edge zone here. Like these early zones is like these are the zones that you got to push for center. Yeah, this guy you can really just skip across by using the mountain that he's used on as like a line of sight blockage. He's gonna have a really hard time shooting you, and you can just throw a floor up once in a while when he can see you. This guy, I like realistically would not be here if you had rotated earlier. That's a good position there. Yeah, you don't really have mats to do a full tunnel here. This was a good idea, I guess, getting to the nitro cover. Get a ramp down here. Always have a ramp inside your build. It's just so much help. It's so helpful. There's no reason not to. Because number one, it stops them from getting their own ramp inside. And number two, it protects against spray just in case like bullets sneak through or whatever happens. And it also gives you more reaction time if they do destroy a wall to build is just like with that extra layer. It's good, some good memory of the map, just using that waterfall. Yeah, that's good that you know there that you can be shot there and that you cannot build a wall in that thing. Yeah, never trust those things. Right now, you should really drop something for that flopper. Shields are not important in this. If you don't drop something for this flopper now, okay, that's good. To be honest, I would either drop the SMG or the. You don't really need an SMG when you have attack. I would have dropped the SMG for the floppers, considering that was a stack of 4 floppers, man. I don't think there was anyone above you. You didn't really need to build there. Instead of building there, you could actually walk forward until you got to the fence. And yeah, right now you don't have to build at all. Okay, well now you have to build. I guess people are shooting at you. Yeah, do not shoot at this guy. Just go and use his build as cover. He knows you're there now. So I'm just going to give you a quick summary of what you need to work on, or what you can do to work on. Is first of all, so you can practice my game sense map. Because really, I don't know if it was just, if you're just trying to play aggressive or something, but really I think there's a distinct lack of advantages that were being used in fights. It seemed that you had some advantages sometimes, but then you would just still in the end resort to pushing in their box. Yeah, really just go and learn all the peaks in my game sense map, just so that you have kind of some cards to play with. Because otherwise it's just if you don't really know the peaks by muscle memory, or if it's not in your procedural thoughts, then you're not going to know, or you're not going to remember to bring them out in the fights. It's not really enough to go and see a technique in a video to start performing them in game. It's always better to go and create it first and practice all these techniques, and that's exactly what I've done in my game sense map. Is I've laid out all the advantageous positions that you can use, and I've organized them by where you use them, and they can really be practiced and applied in game pretty easily. Okay, so zone protocol. Zone 1 is a looting zone. That's your 100%. That is your only goal. You are trying to get your loot, and you're trying to get your maps maxed. If people want to fight you, that's up to them, and then you can play defensively and do whatever you want. But yeah, always focus the loot over everybody. Don't go and push people early game, because that's just gonna hold you back late game, and that's exactly what happened. You got distracted fighting people early game, and you actually were so behind in the zones. I mentioned the domino effect in zone 1 that you're rotating late, and that's exactly what happened. You actually rotated late pretty much every zone until you were almost in storm for the last. Well, you pretty much were in storm for the last one, and having to rotate behind people. And basically everybody that's already rotated early and at the front of the zone is just getting free shots on you. Zone 2, you don't need to be center, but you need to be close enough. Being center in zone 2 is not necessarily going to set you up well for zone 3, but it is going to help. And zone 2 is still a looting. So you're still kind of looting, but try and get close to center. Zone 3, definitely get center. You're almost guaranteed to get zone 4 if you go center zone 3. Remember to use line of sight, or I guess just LOS. I did see you use a bit of LOS blockage, through going through buildings and stuff, which was good. But yeah, just make sure that you're always still using that. Zone 4, ideally if you're center zone for zone 3, you should have zone 4, and you can just chill. If not, you can just move into zone 4, because you do not have to be center zone 4. Okay, so zone 5 is kind of a tricky one. This is the half in, half out zone. So zone 5, always you're either going to be against the side of the storm, using old players' builds. If you're really far behind, or if you're really far away from it, you're going to wait for some people to move. People are really hesitant to move in these zones. So yeah, you're just going to have to kind of follow the flow of everybody moving. If that means that you're going to be way behind in the storm, that's what's going to happen. But yeah. Yeah, or sometimes you can get a free LOS block just with some sort of hill or something. If you are in the middle of zone 4 and you have to rotate through a lot of stuff, you're also going to want to rotate late. If you start going forward, everybody's going to start lasering you right away, so you have to make sure that you're rotating late. Another thing to keep in mind is distractions. If the lobby is focusing someone, then that's a free sign that you can move. If you see the whole lobby spraying at one guy, then start running to zone. It's going to take a while for them to notice you, and then if they do notice you, then you've most likely saved a little bit of match just moving forward. Okay, zone 6+. This is where it gets really complicated. There's so many different variables that can happen, but all I'm going to say is these are the zones that you need to kind of be a Swiss Army knife. You have to know when to do everything. If height gets knocked down, then obviously you can go for it, but never force anything in zone 6. I can't explain the entire handbook of rotating zone 6+, but really I would just say go with the flow of what everybody else is doing. Don't force anything. Don't force high ground. Don't force into people's boxes. Just look around, rotate slowly with the zone, and just be visual of what's going on. Yeah, just kind of go with the flow of what everybody else is doing. This is where streamers also help. I watched some other streams of this happening, or of people reviewing this, like Bala for example. You gotta watch a lot of streams of this zone, and you gotta watch just people reviewing, people pointing things out for you. Yeah. hopefully I am going to get some good games of Zone 6 going down and hopefully point some things out. But yeah, you really just need to have like a lot of information and just really know what goes down here. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks.